What's up, fellas? So I got a little bit of a rant video today, little rant that I wanted to share with you guys and hopefully get your feedback on. So I wanted to share a recent experience that I had with taking my 2017 M3 into a BMW dealership for some service, right? Now, I thought I would put this video out there for three reasons. One, it's part of the ownership experience when you run into things like this, and I thought I would share that just for anybody else in the F8X world or BMW world or M world, whatever, just to kind of give a heads up on this particular experience. Two, I would love some feedback on this one. Personally, I think this one was a little ridiculous for me, and it's one of those like, am I the asshole here? Is this kind of like within acceptable range? Let me hear about your experience if it's anything like this, and by all means, if you're a BMW technician watching this, I would love to hear your feedback to see whether or not this is like standard operating procedure or this dealership is a little crazy. And the third reason was because, now I wouldn't necessarily advocate for everybody to just run out there and start doing their own maintenance, but I would say in the 3 years that I've done this car, I've done 100% of the maintenance on it, and after a report like this, man, I'm kind of glad that I have been doing that, because I can't imagine how much money that I've saved over time. So let's talk about why did I want the car to go in for service? All right, a couple reasons. One, I had an SZL fault pop up the other day. Now this is a module in your steering column, and it can present itself in a couple of different ways. In my case, it happened by means of a cruise control malfunction that showed up on my iDrive message. I got 2 of those errors in the same day, and I haven't seen it again since, and that was about a week and a half to 2 weeks ago. So, how serious is the fault? I don't really know. 2, and I found this one by means of the Beamer Link ChatGPT video I did a little while back, but I saw that there was a short circuit in the wiring to one of the rear seat heaters. Now, it actually, when you push the button, the seat heater comes on for a couple of seconds and then it turns itself off. So clearly, there's an issue with that. On top of that, with a recent Beamer Link scan, I noticed a couple of misfires, and I noted this in a previous video, but I've seen a couple of misfires pop up. I'm pretty sure that I know that I've read, but maybe it's accurate, that a few misfires intermittently is within an acceptable range for these cars. I don't actually know that that's true. So it doesn't seem that there's been any. I don't generally notice them, and in fact, if I hadn't seen them pop up on Beamer Link, I don't think I would have noticed them. But I figure, why not have a BMW tech do a more deeper diagnostic scan than you can do with a lightweight tool like Beamer Link and kind of let me know if there's something really going on. On that note, I did mention to the scheduler when I made the appointment that I'd recently changed the spark plugs about 3 months ago, and I'm pretty sure I gapped them and installed them correctly, but if there's any one thing that might contribute to that, I figure why not mention that and let the technician know. On top of that, right as I was making this appointment and all this was going on, I noticed that I had a slow leak in one of the rear tires, so I figure I'd had my car in for service there before, right when I first got it, to get some tires, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But it clearly needed a new set of tires in the back. I checked it with a gauge, and they were getting into the red zone, and plus, again, I had a leak in one of the back tires, so it needed to be replaced. And finally, while it was going to be up in the air getting tires anyway, have the tech maybe do a deeper visual, better visual inspection of the rear differential bushings and let me know how they're holding up. I got a glimpse at them when I had the car up in the air when I was doing the downpipes the other day. They look okay. They tend to fail pretty early on these cars because they're the older rubber bushings that BMW used until 2018, mid-18, when they switched to the polyurethane. So this car's coming up on 70,000 miles, so it stands to reason that they might be going bad again. I think they looked okay, but I wanted to have a better confirmation of that. So we got the SCL fault, the rear seat heater wiring, the misfires potentially, rear tires, and then the differential bushings. So let's see what BMW found. Got my little report here, and where things kind of got a little squirrely. All right, so first of all, we got the rear seat heater. Now for that, they estimated $1,037.82 to repair that, $245.08 in parts, and the rest in labor and tax. This dealership is in PA, so unfortunately you get a 6% sales tax with all this. I live in Delaware, so I'm a little spoiled with the no sales tax. There is a BMW dealership that is closer to me than this place, but I don't know, I've read some sketch things about it in the past, so I go out of my way to this further away one that is about an hour-and-a-half round trip. So not the most convenient drive to make, and quite honestly, if I just needed tires, I would have gone. There's a tire shop nearby. It's actually, I've learned that it's more than just a tire shop, but a tire place that's very close by. Those guys are awesome. They do great work. I had front tires done there before, and if it were just tires, I would have gone there, but because there was a couple of more in-depth issues, I thought it would be better off to have a BMW technician check it out. And by the way, I've since learned that this nearby shop has a BMW technician with all the relevant software, so good to know. Anyway, so we got the seat heater problem there for $1,037.82. Next, we have the SZL module, which this is, by the way, it's a little unit in the steering column. And I've since read, after looking at all this, that it doesn't seem really that difficult to handle on your own, right? So you got to remove the steering wheel and get to remove a few things to get to the unit in the steering column. I think the trickiest thing is probably you have to code the new one in, which requires specialty BMW software, which I'm pretty sure that I have. I went on a download tear. I have a ton of BMW software. I just haven't installed it all yet. So it probably need a little bit reading up on that, but I'm actually pretty sure I could address this one myself. So anyway, SZL fault, they estimated at $1,414.97. So $931.18 for the part, and the rest in labor and tax. Now, we're at $2,500 to replace the faulty seat heater wiring and the SZL module. At this point, I'm really under no particular belief that this is out of the realm of reasonable, right? So again, I've been to this dealership twice before. When I first got my car, once for rear tires and to replace a few other things. I talked about that in my old 5 things I replaced when I first got my car video. And then also again for a drivetrain fault that ended up happening that was several $1,000s in repair. Fortunately, it was done under warranty. But anyway, so the 2 times that I've been there before, I have an awesome service advisor. She's great. I have no reason to believe that this is crazy, right, in terms of cost. $2,500 to fix 2 issues that I never notice is a little crazy, but nonetheless, in terms of price, I have no particular reason to believe that this is anything bad, until we get to tires. Okay, so tires. Now, I'm replacing the stock. It came with the Michelin Pilot Super Sports. I have 4S's on them, right? So I'd already had them replaced once in March of 2021 at the same dealership. This time around, actually, it's worth noting that back then they charged $386 per tire installed. This time, $769.58 per tire. So $659.07 for the tire, and the rest in labor and tax. Okay. I'm well aware of the problems with inflation. I could probably make a whole nother YouTube channel and just talk about stuff like that, right? So I'm well aware of the inflationary issues in this country. I did not expect the tire price to be the same as it was 3 years ago. Totally get it. But it only takes a couple of seconds to hop on Tire Rack and find that the same exact tire they sell for $444.99. And that's just to like a regular guy who's not probably getting some kind of like bulk discount if you're a tire shop or a dealership or something else. I don't know where BMW gets theirs, but I know that my place, pretty sure they get theirs from Tire Rack because our distribution center is in Newcastle, which is not that far away. Anyway, $659.07 per tire that you can get at Tire Rack for $445. Now, at the point that I've seen that, which by the way, that's double what it was 3 years ago, double. So at the point that I see that, well, now we've got all kinds of doubt cast on the $2,500 estimate for the SZL module and the rear seat heater. Like, that just seems crazy to me. It's like a $200 markup just on the tire, okay? But wait, there's more. Okay, so that's crazy enough. Then we get to the misfire, right? Remember I said that I had a couple misfires and I wanted to have them looked at? So, comments. No misfire observed or found within misfire detection. Customer states aftermarket spark plugs installed by outside shop, by me. OEM installation recommended, $924.14. $220.98 for the spark plugs and the rest in labor and tax. So let me get this straight. You checked for misfires, you didn't find any issues, you know that the spark plugs were just changed about 3 months ago, at least that's what I told the scheduler, and yet because they're NGKs and they're not stock, you want to charge me almost $1,000 to replace 3-month-old spark plugs that are not causing any misfires. Ladies and gentlemen, I implore you. I mean, come on, dude. That's just ridiculous. So if you're ever wondering, like, if maybe should you do some of your own maintenance just as a thing, $924.14 is what it's gonna, on estimate cost these days to have spark plugs changed in an F80. So. And I know it's a bit of a hassle of a job to do, but it is nothing that a Saturday afternoon and a 6-pack won't take care of. Okay, so beyond that, we get to another area that this was also, this one might be my favorite more than the, let me replace the spark plugs that aren't causing any faults because they're not OEM. So with the rear tire replacement, we also would probably need to do an alignment, which they were going to charge $344.45 for, which, okay, whatever. Tech notes wheel spacers present on vehicle and should be removed. Spacers will affect alignment and handling a vehicle. Repair estimate, $108.07. So they wanted to charge $101.95 in labor and $612 in tax to remove spacers that I put there on purpose because it might affect the alignment. Now, I don't doubt there are some people that have very negative opinions about spacers. I get it. I had a conversation with a different service advisor there one time before I started modding my car, and he went on a little rant about spacers and how he hated them. I get it. Maybe in general BMW techs don't like spacers, whatever. But they wanted to charge $108 to remove spacers, again, that I put there on purpose. Come on, dude. Now, other than that, the only other thing that they recommended was a brake fluid change for $211.95. They think one hasn't been done since 11 of 2021. I actually did it in April of 22. Made a video about that as well. And I'm actually getting ready to do another one pretty soon, but nonetheless, they wanted to charge $211.95, $15.45 for the fluid, and then the rest in labor and tax. So again, now this, I don't know how crazy this is in terms of price. It doesn't seem too wild to me, but for BMW anyway. But again, brake fluid change is not a difficult thing to do. You buy the pump one time, I'll link it in the description below, but you buy that one time, the pressurized thing to actually do to get the fluid through the lines, and then you buy the fluid. And actually, if you use FCP Euro's, lifetime replacement guarantee, you buy the fluid once, and then the next time you buy it, you're returning the old fluid, and now you're getting free brake fluid for life because they accept the return of used fluids. So, yeah, dude. And then, by the way, the other things were the tech notes. Tech notes catalytic efficiency fault present in system likely due to aftermarket exhaust with high flow or catless downpipes installed on vehicle. Fine, maybe. I would note, though, that I have not seen a check engine light as a result of my downpipe installation, so there is that. And then tech note number 2. Many aftermarket parts installed in engine bay and may be causing any number of issues with engine running or efficiency concerns. So what do we got here? We got intakes, all right? We got charge pipes and a J pipe, which just replaced the factory plastic ones that can crack under high boost. My car's still making stock boost, but nonetheless. So do intakes and replacement charge pipes and a J pipe cause efficiency problems in the engine? Maybe it's the Carbon X intercooler cover that I put on, or the Downstar, bolt kit that could be affecting my engine efficiency. So anyway, guys, that's all I got. And they did note a slightly bent right front rim that they wanted to charge $180 to replace. So that's my report. So we got $5,400 to address the SCL module, the rear seat heater, the tires, the spark plugs, the 3-month-old spark plugs that are not causing any misfires, to replace those with OEM ones, removing the spacers, and doing a brake fluid change. $5,400, of which about $300 is tax. So that's about all I got. Again, I wanted to share this with you. By the way, the end result story here was that I called them up, told them, do not touch the car. I'm coming to pick it up. Again, I have an awesome service advisor. She said that it was about 3 hours of diagnostics into the car. She only charged me for an hour, which came out to about $220 or so. So that was a bit of a pricey lesson to learn. But if anything, I suppose it's nice to get the confirmation that there are no issues with the car for the 3 years that I've been wrenching on it. But anyway, I ended up taking it to the tire place nearby, and they charged $520 a tire installed, and then $119 for the alignment, as opposed to $345 for BMWs. So yeah, so anyway, again, I wanted to share this story as a sort of A, rant, B, get your feedback. Have you had a similar ridiculous that you think is ridiculous run-in with a BMW dealership? And if you're a BMW tech, am I crazy here? Is this standard operating procedure? Or, is this dealership maybe a little bit crazy? I forget if I mentioned this already, but the particular dealership that I went to, used to be one place that was a sort of a mainstay of that area, and they since got taken over by a bigger network of dealerships. So it's not the same place that it was before. Again, I don't remember if I mentioned this at the beginning of the video, but it's worth reiterating that the last time I was there, it was under the old management, and now it's the new place. So maybe the fact that that would be taken into account for the fact that they're wildly marking up, you know, their parts, $200 markup on Tire Rack alone, right? Or what the tire would be from a place like Tire Rack. Maybe you can take that into account and say, well, that's just, you know, this place charges more for parts and service and stuff. Fine, but you still have a technician that wanted to charge $1,000 to replace perfectly good spark plugs that weren't causing any issues, and $108 to remove spacers because they don't like them. So anyway, again, BMW techs, if you're watching, let me know what you think about that. And, you know, while I'm not, again, the advocate for running out and doing all of your own DIY and all of your own maintenance, I will reiterate that I am really glad that I have been doing my own maintenance and that it seems to have been going pretty well. I can't imagine how much money has been saved over the 3 years so far of this car. And I got a few other maintenance items coming up that I'll be making videos on. But anyway, again, let me know what you guys think. I am super curious. And yeah, review video on the downpipe and exhaust coming soon. And in the meantime, catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.